to our online event, Advancing Persons with Disabilities in Peacebuilding and Inclusivity. Um, we're going to have a toolkit exhibition and spotlight on some grantees. So today we gather to highlight the critical role of persons with disabilities and of inclusion in peacebuilding processes. Since the adoption of UN Security Council Resolution 2475 in 2019, we have seen a growing recognition of the rights and potential contributions of persons with disabilities in conflict and post-conflict settings. However, translating this resolution into action requires ongoing effort and collaboration, as well as international solidarity. Over the next 80 to 90 minutes, we'll showcase our global toolkit developed in partnership with the Abilis Foundation and the Network for Religious and Traditional Peacemakers. And we'll also hear from Asia Working Group grantees who are advancing the inclusion of persons with disabilities in peacebuilding across South and Southeast Asia. Importantly, one of our projects, hosted by Dr. Grantee, focuses on the inclusion of religious actors and the power of storytelling, which highlights the intersectionality of the work that we do as a regional membership. Our objectives today are to, number one, increase awareness of the vital role of persons with disabilities in peacebuilding, to share best practices and case studies, including the integration of religious perspectives and storytelling. We also want to highlight the specific needs of peace builders with disabilities and discuss the challenges and strategies for meaningful inclusion in peace processes in relevant contexts. So the diverse projects we'll explore today demonstrate the multifaceted approaches that are needed to truly advance inclusion in peacebuilding efforts. To begin, I'm pleased to introduce Jessica Rowland, our Senior Specialist on Inclusive Peace. Jessica Rowland will present our global toolkit and framing guide first, and then we will move forward with the grantee presentations. So for now, Jessica, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Divya, and good evening to everyone. It's 6 a.m. here, so if you see me just sipping on my coffee, hopefully my brain's working. But good morning to everybody, and a happy almost International Day for Persons with Disabilities. We're very excited about hearing from the grantees today about the projects and launching our very brand new Beyond the Margins, Centering Disability Inclusion in the Architecture of Peace tool. I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. There are 4 pieces that we're actually launching today. So in partnership with the Abilis Foundation and Finchurch Aid, both in Finland, and supported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Finland, we've been very busy the last 4 years trying to gather information and with our members and supporters on how we could deepen our intersectional approach with advancing persons with disabilities in peace building. And today we're launching a global toolkit that we've developed, as well as a framing guide for the toolkit. And we've also created easy to read guides for these pieces. This toolkit, as I said, has been years in the making. So for the past few years, we've been adding new members who are organizations of persons with disability led. We've been hosting different advocacy events that uplift the specific barriers and needs that persons with disabilities in peacebuilding have. And we've been holding strategic consultations to get needed input from the global community on those who are working to advance persons with disabilities in peacebuilding. Move my screen here. So here's just a few examples of what we've been doing. We've had a few inclusivity community of practice sessions focused on advancing persons with disabilities in peacebuilding, and you can see some from the advocacy materials created there. We've had parallel sessions during Finland's National Dialogue Conference that specifically focus on the subject. We've had one of our network members, Sylvan Obedi from Enable the Disable in the DRC, who actually came to New York City as part of the UN Commission on the Status of Women, as part of our JISRA project. And in this year, we actually held an online consultation during the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities to help and inform this toolkit, looking at different best practices and case study examples. So this is just a few things that we've been doing. But the big news today is, what is this toolkit? This toolkit offers practical guidance for both peacebuilding actors and organizations for persons with disabilities, basically on how to partner and mainstream the inclusion of persons with disabilities across peacebuilding processes, institutions, and agenda. So what we found in the peacebuilding kind of sector is people mean well, but I think that they're a little nervous to try to be more inclusive and try to be more intersectional because they're afraid of getting it wrong. And so we really wanted to overcome this hurdle and show just practical, actionable guidance on how the peace building sector can integrate disability perspectives into their work. And we wanted to give really practical entry points for change for this partnership, no matter where you are in the conflict cycle. So whether you're doing prevention, response, or recovery, we just wanted to give really practical examples of how they could partner. So why does this matter? Why does disability inclusion matter? Approximately 1.3 billion people, or about 16% of the global population, currently have a significant disability. And this figure is expected to rise because of the amount of conflicts that are increasing, but also due to factors such as population aging and the rise of non-communicable diseases. And even though we know persons with disabilities are often excluded from peace processes despite being deeply affected, but we know, because I think everyone here, we also know that I'm always saying inclusion strengthens legitimacy, equity, and sustainability of peace processes. But it's important to remember that when we're thinking about partnership, it's not only about inclusion, but it's about shifting power. So that's why it's so critical today that we have persons with disabilities who are sharing their lived experience and expertise to strengthen this whole of society approach. So who is this toolkit for? So this can be used for peacebuilding practitioners, humanitarian actors, persons with disabilities, organizations for persons with disabilities, policymakers and donors, civil society and researchers. But this toolkit's especially relevant for anyone working, whether it be on the women peace and security agenda or the youth peace and security agenda. Those who are developing national action plans and actually doing the peacebuilding work. The structure of the toolkit itself is organized around the conflict cycle. So those working on prevention, or those working in conflict response, or in a post-conflict context. We utilize this work in using a case study from Somalia. So the SIDA, the Swedish International Development Agency, supported Finchurch Aid Somalia to do a local case study project. So it is from the Somalia Strengthening Democratic and Inclusive Local Governance Strong project. So we'll see the case study example through the toolkit, kind of showing that in action. And then it breaks it down in each section, looking at how you can do action on 3 different levels. So looking at our theory of change. So if you're in, for example, preventing violence, we will show you how you do that on the individual level, the institutional level, and then the sociocultural level. So why Somalia? Why did we choose to do our case study there? So we actually had the technical expertise with the support of Abilis to actually focus on the leadership and participation of persons with disabilities through a commissioned assessment in Somalia through its 4 federal member states. We know that 11.7 of the adult population in Somalia lives with some form of disability, and this is as a result of different issues, including prolonged conflict, poverty, limited healthcare services, culture perceptions, and limited infrastructure. So, because of the decades of civil war and armed conflict, many are suffering from long-term disabilities and have issues with access to medical care and rehabilitation services. So, we really wanted to find a context that had these intersectional issues and be able to assess how they were actually serving the population. So whilst the Somalia case study isn't universally acceptable or applicable, sorry, this case offers learnings and findings that could be helpful for others. So we encourage users of the toolkit to adapt some of these learnings and recommendations based on your local context. And so each section kind of provides guidance on next steps of what might be helpful for your context. But in the study, we actually found, as part of the project, that 72.3% of community respondents support disability inclusion in peace processes, but the actual participation still remains limited. 86% actually responded and said that the lack of sign language interpretation was the main barrier to participation, while 70% pointed to physical inaccessibility of venues. There were further disparities in the disability community itself. Persons with lower support needs were twice as likely to participate compared to those with high support needs. Um, so it kind of illustrates even the disparities in the disability community there. Um, but they did show promising practices from Somalia. So we did see that organizations for persons with disabilities and peacebuilding organizations were training security actors and humanitarian responders on inclusive practices, including identifying persons with disabilities during needs assessments. So there were some good practices that we were able to highlight from the project for others. And the Strong Project developed its own toolkit, its own context on how to mainstream disability inclusion in future peace processes in Somalia. So you can also we can share the findings from the Somalia specific toolkit as well. Getting into the toolkit. So the first section that we look at for those in context where you're doing conflict prevention, we really wanted to focus on participation and leadership in this section. So examples that I'll just highlight, we give many, but just a few that we highlight of what organizations with persons with disabilities and peacebuilding organizations can do. You can perform an inclusive conflict analysis. So in everything that we do, we're always analyzing the conflict. So also making sure that you're looking at the impact on the disability community. You can design community-based early warning mechanisms and also co-design intersectional peace education efforts, including raising awareness on the critical role of persons with disabilities in conflict prevention. It's critical that peace building organizations and organizations of persons with disabilities work together to ensure that persons with disabilities have the means and ability to participate. So it's no surprise here for everyone, but making sure that people have are able financially and have everything support needs wise to actually participate in the activities that you're doing. If you're in a active conflict area of the cycle, we focused on conflict response and participation. So when we think of ongoing conflicts today, there have been more than 49,000 casualties with around 118,000 people injured in Gaza. So the lack of medical services has led to moderate cases becoming critical, and with an estimated over 1,000 children having lost at least one limb in less than a year of the conflict. In Sudan, 25 million people need urgent humanitarian assistance, including an estimated 1.85 million people with disabilities as of 2008. And of the 3 million people with disabilities in Ukraine, 1.8 million are in urgent need of humanitarian assistance. So this just kind of shows you what the current conflicts today, the disparity for persons with disabilities. Um, We also know that from a deeper intersectional lens, persons with disabilities are significantly more likely to experience violence and sexual assault and less likely to access legal protection or preventative services. Women and girls with disabilities suffer up to 3 times greater risk of rape and are likely to be twice as likely to be survivors of domestic violence and other forms of gender-based violence. So again, looking at this intersectional impact. Some of the stories that we found in the research were very devastating and highlighted in the toolkit just from showing the impacts during conflict. But from this work, we know peace building responses must be co-developed with organizations of persons with disabilities to ensure that inclusion is not framed as individualized care, but as part of community resilience. So just a few examples of partnership we highlighted here, which is providing capacity strengthening on conflict response, advancing inclusive protection systems, and promoting digital and offline community communication tools. So this can be allowing for people, if they have the digital means to connect with the community through online groups, but also doing like utilizing community radio for offline communication. So just thinking about different ways to connect. The last area of key actions is around post-conflict society, so looking at recovery and healing. So accessibility needs to be central, and organizations of persons with disabilities must be co-leading these efforts. Examples of partnership here are economic empowerment and livelihood support, justice and institutional reform, and inclusive transitional justice mechanisms. So thinking that women with disabilities experience higher levels of economic exclusion, sorry, and looking at how we can better serve the community through additional funding. So there is an initiative at the global level where there is an effort to get 16% of all funding streams to support disability inclusion, recognizing that persons with disabilities are 16% of the population. So trying to advance that work. I know I'm running out of time, so I'll just briefly highlight that the framing guide, which accompanies the toolkit, also provides additional current and historical context on disability inclusion and peace building. We didn't want the toolkit to be too long, so we made it a separate document. It also highlights different national action plans that are advancing persons with disabilities and peace building, so it gives some practical examples. But it's important to note that of this year, only a small number of WPS and YPS national action plans actually explicitly mention persons with disabilities, and no member state has adopted a dedicated plan to implement UN Security Council 2475 on the protection and participation of persons with disabilities in conflict settings. The framing guide also provides answers to frequently asked questions, and it provides further insight into the Somalia case study, offering other practical resources. And as I said in the beginning, we do have the easy to read versions for the peace building organizations and organizations for persons with disabilities to utilize as part of the work. And in the easy to read version, I think my favorite thing of the whole 4 pieces is the power of storytelling, which I know we're also hearing later today. There is an example from Somalia that we found from the interviews in Puntland. It was about a blind elder who played a key role in mediating clan reconciliation efforts. So his physical disability was perceived as many as a symbol of impartiality. So people saw that because he was blind, it would actually make him more trustworthy. So he was actually able to facilitate dialogue between rival groups without being viewed as politically or socially biased. So community members trusted him to listen without judgment. So his role actually as a mediator was seen as both effective and transformative. So it just illustrates a powerful example of how a person with disability, when given the opportunity and support, can serve as credible and powerful actors in peace processes. Just wanted to share that example that we found. So this toolkit is not the end, but it is the very beginning. But we just wanted to give something practical that the peace building community can utilize to advance inclusion and ensure that the architecture of peace is not only inclusive but co-designed by all. So we want to be able for all of us to move beyond the margins together. Happy to answer any questions as they come up, but just very excited that we get to launch this with you all today. And we'll put the links to the pieces in the chat.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for such a great overview of the toolkit and framing guide. It sounds like you and the team have done such holistic work on this and made easy to read formats, which will be great and undoubtedly really useful for the people in this room who are advancing disability inclusion and peace building across Asia. Thank you so much for that presentation. If you have any questions for Jessica, I will ask you to keep hold of those for the end of the session because we will have some time for question and answers for the grantees as well as Jessica. But maybe now, without further ado, let's move on to our grantee presentations. Now we'll hear from 4 projects that are putting the principles that we just discussed into action across South and Southeast Asia. I'm kindly reminding presenters that they have about 10 minutes to present, 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 12, to present their work and their projects. I will give a brief introduction of the speakers. So first we'll have Maruf and Apichaya from Digital for Peace in Thailand. We'll also have Dr. Ray T, who is a professor at Payap University and the head of the Department of Peace Studies. We will also have Abdus Sitar Dalal, who's the executive director of BPKS in Bangladesh. And finally, but not least, we'll have Isat Mary, the president of the Organization for Women in Disabled Care in Pakistan. I'm going to change the order a little bit because I see that Abdus Dalal has some time constraints. So perhaps we can begin with our first speaker, Abdus Dalal, who brings over 47 years of dedicated experience in advancing holistic development and promoting the rights of persons with disabilities, non-discriminatory systems, policies, and practices at both the national and international level in Bangladesh. Dalal, the floor is yours. Sarah, if I may ask if you can share the presentation. Thank you so much.
Is it showing up?
Yes, it is.
All right.
So thank you very much. I hope you hear me, everybody. Thank you, Diba, and thank you, Jessica, and all the honorable presenter there. I'm very sorry to take the advantage to speak early before all of you because I am in traveling from the very grassroots level because of the we celebrate the International Day of Person with Disabilities in different area of the country. And I enjoy this day today also. So thank you very much. This my first slide, as I said, that fostering disability inclusive societies for advancing social progress. So that is the this year I think is the theme of the United Nations. Do you please show the full screen of the slide?
I'm sorry,
I
my
don't see.
computer's not working to let me load it full screen.
Oh my gosh. So then I try to use my one, then I quickly see that where it is. Okay. So, and BPKS, it was established in 1985 with my initiative. I was initiated this organization and with a grassroots representation of the disabled people. It run by the disabled people in the country, and BPCAS is the national organization in Bangladesh. And we have millions of disabled people who is supported by our organization in the country, and it create the movement for the disabled people in Bangladesh. And we also follow the very innovative approach that is the disabled person driven right based holistic approach, that the different focusing different sector, including the economic development, education, and health, and all the development sector we covered by this approach. So this organization is work in the 43 district out of 64 district of Bangladesh. And this organization is all types of disability we cover in the country. And BPCAS existence is its performance is actually is contribute to increase the the possibilities to eliminate the unacceptable and unethical concept, discrimination, inhuman work barriers, and lack of fundamental rights of the PWDs. And I hope that you see the different photos here. And same time, I appreciate the the Finland Foreign Ministry and the FCA and NRTP that we all are supporting one of our project, which is very influential project actually. It also provide kind of innovation and new dimension within the within the sector that promote the human rights of the disabled people. I want to say that is very new strategic area that help the disabled people to support not just only to themselves, and also to support the whole society. So they are now committed to build the peace in their community through they receive the 7 days peace building training by the 42 young person with disabilities. By 7 days residential training we provided in Dhaka in Bangladesh, and you see that some photos that also covered by many medias, about 40 television channel. This program was recorded and they was published in different channel in the country. So that the and the 42 fish builders also work as an advocate in their society at the 8th division of Bangladesh. Division is Bangladesh is divided into the 8 division. So that in each of these division they are now advocate voluntarily, and they are committed first not to do anything unpeaceful, and they are committed to increase the peace in their family and also in their neighbors and community level as much as possible by themselves. So that is they are committed, and they also sign a declaration by the at the end of the our 7 days training. So I personally also visited some of the area. Even today, I also visit some of the those trainees, those who are completed the training in one of the district. So and this, this by this process, they are also establish a peace building advocacy team with 7 members each, in one in each division of Bangladesh. That team is they established, and they are also the team is also post the different information through the Facebook. They have a Facebook group. We also open a Facebook group, so information is they post in the Facebook group what improvement they made and what success, and what are the achievement they achieve, and whatever activities they are implemented in their district level, that also they post in the Facebook group. And we call it as PADs, the Peace Building Advocate with Disabilities. It is a model, is successfully operational, and their progress is being followed up also by the BPKS. BPKS is our organization, that the National Disabled People's Organization, and that we also take responsibility to follow their activity and regular empower them. We have the regular connection with these members. So the BPKS leadership team also regularly keep in touch with them, and we decide we have a monthly WhatsApp group meeting, and in the for to continue this peace builders advocates activities to strengthen their activities, and then to accelerate their also their mission in the respective areas. So that is the commitment the was till now we have, and they are very enthusiastic also. And you see some photos here. In this photo, you see there is a lot of television, there is a media people are also see it as a new dimension, as because disabled people mostly are neglected, ignored, and many people thought they are inactive, they are not able to do work, but same time, but in other side, disabled people themselves are now committed to building the face. So it's a fully opposite, it's a very positive, some masses that already are starting the receiving by the people in the country. So that this is the program that we have, and some recommendation we are also have the to that is diverse to overcome the challenges. That examples are like that the disabled people driven right based holistic and collaborative program is crucial to implement that empower person with all types of disabilities and promote their initiation, participation, and ownership that ensures the society is for all. The capacity building of the organization of persons with disabilities are urgent need to address their needs appropriately with all relevant stakeholders collaboration as the catalyst organization does. So that is one, kind of some recommendation. The specific need for peace builders with disabilities are as follows, which the international community may give priority. First one is should implement the recommendation above through direct partnership with the organization of persons with disabilities, thereby achieving the objective of the CRPD and the SDGs. Second is should have a safeguard system that ensure funding and cooperation for OPDs, Organization of Persons with Disabilities. And third is should provide support to the capacity building program to Organization of Persons with Disabilities, their leader, manager, and PADs, the Peace Builders Advocate with Disabilities. 4 is should allocate fund to Organization of Persons with Disabilities to implement a national advocacy and lobby program for oblige the government to implement the relevant national and international policies which agreed. So that and there is a it is proven that final my slide is that it is proven that people with disabilities and their organization of persons with disabilities are the true agent of change and transformation, and nothing will be peaceful, just, and progressive without their inclusion and participation. So that and I have the I'm there is some small video, but I'm not able to upload it now. And I thank you very much, all of you, for all of your support, and it is an honor to participate with you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dalal, for your presentation and explaining your project. I think it's really awe-inspiring that you've been able to congregate so many members as part of your organization and connect the 8 different divisions of Bangladesh to spread the advocacy message. And through a small grant as well is really awe-inspiring. So thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please share my presentation with all the participants, as because I'm actually in the traveling now in the vehicle. It's not really very comfortable place, that maybe I'm not sure whether you able to watch the full presentation, but I request you share my presentation with all of the participants. Thank you very much.
Indeed, we'll share all the grantee presentations as well as the toolkit to everyone who's attended, and as well as our wider Asia working group. So thank you so much. Maybe now we can move on to our next presenter. Our next presenter will be Maruf and Apichaya from Digital for Peace. Digital for Peace is an organization focused on digital peace building and inclusive policy design. Both Maruf and Apichaya are empowering grassroots leaders and transform their lived experiences into actionable policy. So without further ado, Maruf and Apichaya, the floor is yours to describe your project in Deep South Thailand. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Divya. So right now, can you all see my screen presentation?
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Yes, that's wonderful. So hello everyone. My name is Maruf. I'm a founder and director of Digital for Peace Foundation. So our foundation established to promote peace building in the deep south of Thailand, and we utilize using technology for advancing peace building. And thank you, FCA and many organizations that are supporting us to work together with people of disabilities in the deep south of Thailand to be more inclusive peace in the my area in the deep south of Thailand. So first of all, to understand our work, we must understand our context. So if you see on the map in the world, we are located in the deep south of Thailand near Malaysia border. So we have like their own our own identity. We have our own history. So that's why it brings to the conflict in the deep south of Thailand and in my area. And this is the situation that always happen in my hometown. And this dramatic picture is always in the public area, and not only military that affect to the armed conflict or bomb, but the civilians are the majority of the victim of the conflict. So since 2004, there are around 7,000 who are civilians lost their life, and around 30,584 people are injured, and 61% are civilians that casualties are being, the target of the conflict in the deep south of Thailand. And for the local community, this is not just the battle between insurgents and security force, but it is the conflict that turned daily life into an act of survival. So this is not just statistic or not just the number. It is the family, a father, a mother of the loved one. So this is the reason that we have to take care of. So looking into the number of the people of disabilities, there are 51,000 and almost 60,000 of people of disabilities in the deep south of Thailand. Some of them, I think, the majority of this number are the victim, the target victim of the conflict in the deep south. But not only they are the victim of the conflict, but the structural violence that make them to be the double victim again and again, and they lack access to the public support, government support, and they always will to be recipient of charity. So people reach to them to help them as the charity work, not the change agent. And they themselves lack of the uh, channel to voice their need and their proposal, their idea to be a part of the peace building. So because of this project, Peaceability, so this project we promote them not to be the victim, but make them to be a leader, to be one group that really important of the peace building in the deep south. And we would like to make the peace building to be more inclusive. So first of all, we invite them to be a part of the project design. So we know their need, uh, their progress, and what the view of the future after this project ending. So we have Kun Apichya to be with us, working together to design the project, and at the morning of our activity, we have capacity building. So we learn together about the importance of the people of disabilities to be a part of peace building. So what I realized, on that day is they most of them don't realize that they are really important in peace building, because most of them used to be the victim of the violence. So we learn about the human right based approach. So they are not like the recipient of the charity, but they themselves to be a leader, someone who are important in peace building as well. And about Thai policy, to allow them to be like the partner of development. And at the afternoon session, we are not only teach them about the theory and something on the paper, like on the morning, right? So we allow them to be in a group, talking together in World Cafe format, to make them to exchange their idea, their voice, their proposal, the demand of the future, that what should peace building be in the future. So this is our co-design. We have, designed the activity together with Kun Apicia and our financial staff, Kun Amina, on before we, formally design our the activity day, right? So this is the activity day. We have capacity building on and in the morning, and this is really a bit serious, to be honest, but make them learn about the role model from the developing country, or other country that have a good model in promoting disabled right, or the right of people of disability to be a part of the inclusive development and peace building. And we also exchange about the human right based approach, Thai policy, what is in the Thai law to provide law for supporting the people of disability. And this is the afternoon session. So we divide us into the smaller group and have the discussion about the disability right, and the how people of disability have more access to the quality education and the economic development, something like that. So this is really fun activity. So we promote them to have a more confidence to voice their demand or need. And after that, at the end of the day, we invite the government official to receive the declaration of the people of disabilities in the Deep South. This is the first declaration that we collect all the idea, from the people of disability to, the government official to, have more commitment in supporting people of disability in more inclusive peace building. And for me, this is really beautiful picture. All of them, have a powerful expression, and some government official commitment, commit to, make the voice, the declaration to be more progress in the future. And this is some of our curriculum that we learn together. So one of them is the letter of participation, right? So previously, most of the people of disability just being like a background of the meeting of the government meeting, right? So we promote them to be more higher ladder, to make them to be, like partnership or delegation of the inclusive development. Yeah, this is the number of the participant, 31 person of disabilities, and we also include PA, so they also come to join, and also two government official, high level official, to listen to people of disability. And this is really good number that we assess the result of the of our activity. So 68% of the participants said that they have more confidence to express their voice. So we are not only, in the small room, but we also publicize, circulate our work into national news and also local news. And I like the speech of the news anchor telling that this activity is not just vulnerable group, but they are really important part of peace building. So this is the word that I quote from the news. So I really like it, and this make people who listen to the news on TV and the internet realize the importance of the participation of people of disability. Oh, sorry. Oh, this is the video clip. I would like to skip. And also, Kun Apicia and the representative of the people of disability are invited to be to talk about the declaration in the high level of the Council of the Development in the Deep South of Thailand. So they listen to the voice of people of disability on that day. And most of all, this is the most recent one. So Minister Akara Prompao, he is the Minister uh, of the Social Development and Human Security. Once he come to the deep south of Thailand, and he allow the people of disability to talk. So Kun Apicia have really high confidence to talk about the declaration and the future that we should support more people of disabilities in the deep south of Thailand compared to the previous activity organized by the government. The people of disability just sit there and have no chance to speak at all. But this time, so she herself, Kun Apicia, talked to the minister directly about the demand, about the the declaration of the activity that we do. And beyond that, we have innovative solution as well. So we don't want all the demand, the declaration to be forgotten. We develop our website. This is to monitor each of the demand, each of the need of people of disability to be uh, in the policy monitoring website. So we can see that which policy having more progress, which policy were reject because of what, why, and this make people of disability can trace and can get update about their demand. And this is in number 45 attendees, you know, uh, 31 people of disability, 12 PA, and 2 government official, 8 partner organization. We have local CSOs, academic, government, and donor as well, and 95% of satisfaction and 1 declaration of the policy demand. And if the peace process doesn't include us, which is people of disability, it won't be true peace of all. So I like this quote from some of our participants. So because of nothing about us without us. So I would like to invite Kun Apicia to introduce herself and talk about her idea or about this project as well. So ขอเชิญพี่จ๋า so please แนะนำตัว so I will be translator for her. She is she herself is a person of disability and was a target of the conflict in the deep south by herself as well directly. So I will let her to introduce herself and talk about the reflection of the impact of the journey. So the floor is yours. ขอเชิญครับพี่จ๋า
ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะจ๋านะคะพิชยาชัยชนะเป็นตัวแทนจากคนพิการของจังหวัดนราธิวาสนะคะก็โครงการของ Peaceability นะคะก็ทำให้คนพิการนะคะเขาเรียกสามารถแล้วก็เข้าถึงแล้วก็มีความตระหนักในเรื่องของการสร้างสันติภาพในพื้นที่มากขึ้นแล้วก็ทำให้คนพิการกล้าที่จะแสดงออกแล้วก็กล้าที่จะเรียกร้องสิทธิ์ในส่วนที่ตัวเองจะได้รับค่ะพอไหม
ได้ครับก็ thank you very much คุณอภิชยา so I would like to translate a little bit so she said that she is a leader of the people of disability community in the deep south of Thailand. And from this project, it made her friend and her organization and her member in the deep south of Thailand realize how important of inclusive peace to include the people of disability to be a part of the development in the future and make them more confident in talking to the high level of Thai officials, so we can see the future progress from Thai government as well. So thank you very much for your time, for our the attention of our presentation. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maruf and Alpichaya, for developing such a great project in the Deep South Thailand. For those of you who don't know, Maruf is also a recipient of 2024 Small Grants and did excellent work. And his work is always very comprehensive and being able to source different stakeholders from everywhere and then also do follow-up activities and ensure that it's in the media. And Maruf, I just want to commend you on your hard work towards this project. I think it's excellent and so nice to see. Great. So
Thank you very much,
perhaps now
Divya.
we can stay in Thailand and go to our key network member, Dr. Ray, who is a scholar practitioner. He teaches political science, human rights, and dimensions of peace building at Payap University in Chiang Mai. And he's also the project leader of Religion, Culture, and Peace Laboratory. So I'll pass the floor to Dr. Ray to provide his presentation. And a kind reminder that we still have 2 grantees to hear from. So if we have any burning questions, we may have to stay on the line for an extra 10 to 15 minutes. So thank you. And Dr. Ray, all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll share my file. Let me know if you can see my file.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. My presentation is on our project with FCA, From Marginalization to Empowerment, Building Inclusive Justice and Peace through Storytelling, Dialogue, and Advocacy. The planning that before we started was with Reverend Dr. Ken Dobson, who is the president's advisor, the university's president advisor, perhaps the past 5 presidents of the university, whom he had served. And he is a prominent member of the LGBT community in Thailand, in the villages in Chiang Mai, and also Reverend Deacon Dr. Jean Borquin, who himself is a person with disabilities. And we also met with Pastor Kong. So the 4 of us formed a core group. So everything was planned with the most important people behind the project, a person with experience with PWD organizing, and also with the LGBT organizing. So we have Dr. Jean Borquin. He is a certified mobility specialist, sign language interpreter, US sign language. He worked at the National Center for Deaf Blindness, but he had moved to Chiang Mai for so many years now. And he was a consultant to the School for the Deaf, but he told us it had since closed down. So we were not able to access the school. And also a resource person we had who came with us online was Reverend Dick Mahaffey, and he's the president of the Episcopal Conference of the Deaf. And I realized that organizing this was a big headache for someone who's ignorant like me about PWD. So this was a learning experience for me. And in the past, though, when I worked with the Christian Conference of Asia, which is an INGO of the UN, I organized the Asian Ecumenical Disability Network, in Yangon. And we also work with the Mary Chapman School for the Deaf in Yangon. This was an Asia level meeting. People who are deaf, who don't have hands, and so on, were able to come up with a statement, program of action for the churches. And in Chiang Mai, where the project is situated, we are the home for many marginalized groups, ethnic minorities, religious minorities, people fleeing Myanmar, people with disability, and a vibrant LGBT community. So many of them are not well represented in the peace building process. And this project filled the gap by providing a safe zone for the marginalized people, including LGBT and PWD, by using storytelling and interfaith dialogue to build mutual trust. We had a series of 12 activities. And weekly we had storytelling, mediation, dialogue, and peace building. About 30 participants attended the event. And we were able to train and empower 30 participants from underrepresented communities, women of faith, LGBT, PWD of different background. However, we had a walking pilgrimage, and there were 58 people who took part in it of different ethnicities and backgrounds. We had Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, and atheists who joined our activities. People of very different ethnic backgrounds were also involved. And we have men, women, and self-identified as a third gender participants. And the outcome included intersectional inclusive peace building, where we were able to train people to become mediators themselves. And we were able to increase the awareness of marginalized people and gave some case studies. We had case studies here, and we reflected the needs of the marginalized people, which I will share at the end, and including their challenges. We had women of faith who had very different stories. The woman in the center said she was a queen. The woman on the left said she experienced the worst nightmare of patriarchy. And the woman on the right said she had experience with inheritance rights being taken away from her because she's a woman. So we had testimonies of women who went through different types of experiences in their society. And we had a mixed event, Zoom, a hybrid event, and people who have disability on site as well. And we had 3 interpreters. I didn't know how difficult it was until we had this event. We didn't have budget for the on-site interpreter. We didn't have budget for the off-site interpreter. Our resource person paid out of his own pocket $100 each for the interpreters. And for the LGBT also, it was an eye-opener for our university. It's a very conservative Christian university, but they allow such activities to go on without problem. In fact, we had a former secretary, office secretary, this photo, who took part in sharing his experiences. And a professor herself had, she said it herself, deformed feet and leg. She didn't want people to look at them. She felt so an outsider and ugly, but she said that she found a home at Payap where they took care of it. So this is one of the best practices. She said out of her 20-year tenure at Payap, she found it very welcoming. And then Dr. Jean was saying that the bodies of people with disabilities are not a prayer request. The church's purpose is not curing. Its purpose is healing. We're here to form communion. And our Reverend Dick Mahaffey, the president of the Episcopal Conference of the Deaf, said that God, who knows what it's like to be disabled or deaf, is open and accessible and wants people with disabilities to feel included. Why do we need this project here. Firstly, because of systematic exclusion in decision making. Up to now, even in progressive circles here in Chiang Mai, we are shocked to find out we often only have able men who are at the forefront of meetings, such that we even had to make changes in the recent meeting that Divya had attended here. We said, "Oh, our drafting committee is all men." On the second day, we had to add women. So things like that, it we take it as second nature to forget the marginalized people. So the systematic exclusion had to be addressed. And why was this project needed? When we engage in storytelling, which is very powerful, we don't read textbooks or statistics, but the testimonies of the lived experiences of people, we found out that there are certain things that may be common to us or shocking to us. And this will help reduce our biases and is a process of healing. And we will be able to share our ownership in building peace. So even the marginalized people, PWD, LGBT, ethnic and religious minorities have a place at the table. Why was this project needed? The third reason, provide safe space, accessibility. We facilitate the exchange, the meeting, the gathering, the dialogue, and the training tool. I have 3 questions for Jessica. I enjoyed her presentation, but I hope I could get answers. And what are the challenges? Social stigma, safety concerns, limited access to decision making in terms of physical barrier and communication barrier, and hierarchy at all levels, religion, culture, gender, and the lack of technical peace building skills. And what are the strategies do we recommend? Safe, inclusive dialogue space, mentoring, accessible design, training in mediation skills, inter-ethnic and interfaith dialogue, allies of all kinds, and community-centered storytelling. What opportunities are available? Growing openness and inclusive and multi-group cooperation, increase civil society momentum, expanding recognition of lived experience as peace-building expertise. What are the specific needs? Legal protection, accessibility funding, psychosocial support, leadership training, formal representation at peace tables. What are the key advocacy issues? Protect marginalized groups through 1, legal, 2, safety, and 3, accessibility guarantees. Institutionalize their full inclusion and leadership role. Sustain marginalized-led peace building with long-term flexible funding. To end, inclusive peace is only possible when marginalized groups are legally protected, fully represented, and sustainably supported as leaders in dialogue, mediation, and peace building. Divya was here a couple of times in Chiang Mai. We're glad she was able to participate in our activities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ray. Indeed, I did have the pleasure of attending the storytelling session with Buddhist monks, and as Dr. Ray explained, it was lovely to see, even in one event, so many different individuals in one room learning from and kind of picking up the stories and sharing them and amplifying them further. So just from that one event, I can imagine the impact that 12 had. And I just thank you for your dedication in building this project. And I hope we can continue to work together with Bio University as well. Okay, so last but not least, we can hear from Mary, who is the president of the Organization for Women in Disabled Care in Pakistan. Mary began her career as a volunteer and then served as a social mobilizer. She is extremely active in youth activism, And she also supports the women of supports women and disabled persons to strive and uplift themselves and empower vulnerable communities. So again, I will now pass the floor to Isabel Mary to present her project. Just so you know, it's not fully done yet. The project is still in mid-implementation. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Divya. Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, nice. I'm very deeply glad for hearing a meaningful work that all are doing for the PWDs. And also, I'm here to share my mine. And let me share my slide. I guess. Divya, can you please share it if you can?
Yes, let me look for it.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, just a minute. So I know how to make a full screen. So can I start like this? Okay, thank you so much. So starting with my introduction, first of all, I wanna tell you that I'm Izzat Mary, president of OWDC, and professionally I'm clinical dietitian and working with OWDC and from past few years. And OWDC is basically a peaceful, respectful, and inclusive society, especially for women and person with disabilities. So OWDC was created with a clear purpose to empower marginalized groups, promote dignity, ensure equal participation for all members of our community. We strongly believe that every individual deserves to live with respect, equality, integrity without any discrimination. So, in this presentation, I will briefly explain who we are, the challenges faced by PWDs in Pakistan, the existing laws of Pakistan for strengthening the PWDs and marginalized groups, and what are the challenges that PWDs are facing in Pakistan for their rights. So our goal is to
Right,
make
is
the
that,
PWDs.
sorry,
Sorry.
the screen is not moving, so the presentation slides are not moving. It's still
No,
the
I'm
first
starting the
slide.
presentation now.
Okay,
I'm
okay, sorry,
giving
sorry.
the
Thank you.
intro. Yeah. So, OWDC have a very clear vision of peaceful and civilized society in where we work for the dignity and equality of marginalized groups, especially for the PWDs, as our organization name, OWDC, Organization for Women and Disabled Care, shows. So, our mission is to improve the women, youth, marginalized groups, PWDCs through service delivery, social mobilization, and inclusive participation to show sustainable human rights and livelihood without discrimination of caste, creed, and sex. As we are living in Pakistan, so we have in context with Pakistan, there are different kind of social stigmas and some kind of discriminations regarding this. So we are working on it, and our major role and vision was to m- um, make these people the part of the other community and equal to others. So combined peace focused vision and mission statement is OWDC strive to build peaceful inclusive society by improving women, youth, PWDs. PWDs, marginalized group, through equal opportunities, social mobilization, rights-based development without discrimination. So, about OWDC, established with core vision to improve marginalized groups, for example, youth, women, rehabilitate and empowerment of PWDs for more dignity, inclusive and equal participation in society. Early initiative was we established a CBR training for volunteers, which is a community-based rehabilitation centers for the volunteers, in which we train the our committee of CBR to to help or to support the PWDs at their doorstep with household and community level, supporting their mobility and social and economic challenges by giving campaigns and by giving awareness sessions or by giving assistive toolkits, and facilitate health, education, and social services, promoting inclusive participation of PWDs in early life. The shocking news was for me also and when I read this report of census 2023 that 9.6% population of Pakistan is disabled. So this is a shocking news for me. And the major causes, when I go through with this, the major causes for these are limited access to healthcare. In this, I have mentioned that healthcare, like in the context of Pakistan, when we go through the pregnant women or their delivery process, mostly people go for they are from low socio-economic background, so they prefer the lowest and unskilled persons for this process. So one was this reason, and second is the high rate of accident and injuries is the highest in the Pakistan and South Asia. So, and the other is genetic condition, as we all know, and malnourishment is also a major role in PWDs, as the nutrient deficiency in pregnant mothers leading to developmental issues like stunting, delayed growth, affect mobility. Communicable disease like polio is still in this region, as NGOs are working on this for the polio and for vaccination, but it still exists in this. So some are the causes are environmental disaster related causes, aging population, social determinants, better measurement in 2023 census. This 9.6 figure is also very high because Pakistan used for the first time and improved disability specific measurement tools. National law and policies are existing, as I have mentioned before. So the Article 25 and the Article 38 says that equality of citizens and also for vulnerable and marginalized group. So we believe and we know that laws are existing in Pakistan for PWDs and also ICT, that is Rights of Person with Disability Act 2020, Islamabad Capital Territory. This all laws are existing for the protection of the PWDs and for providing them the equality and all equal opportunities. But the sad part is this: the implementation. There is no implementation in these laws, and I would say minimal implementation and very challenging for PWDs. So national employment quota is also available for the PWDs, which is 2% for public and private sectors. And here I would say there is 2% quota for public sector, but not in private sectors. There are many difficulties or almost 0% chances for the PWDs to get employment in private sectors. So Punjab Enforcement of PWDs Act 2022 is present for establishing the Punjab Disability Right Commission, inclusive education, ensure employment, right and protection, abuses, require accessibility, public building, transport systems for the PWD especially. And past few months ago, there is a campaign running in the Pakistan that washrooms, the ramps for the PWDs, especially built in the public sectors. So things are working for the PWDs, but not in very good context. So we are also working for the, especially for the PWDs. And challenges that they face are because laws are existing, but the implementation is weak. Employment barriers, 2% quota often not fulfilled in public and private sectors. Employer hesitate to hire due to stigma and lack of workspace accessibility, limited vocational training opportunities, limited accessibility, majority of public building, transport, schools, offices, lack of ramps, accessible toilets, assistive services, and no uniform national accessibility standards. Inadequate, inclusive education, schools lack specialized teachers and assistive learning tools. Low enrollment of children with disability, bullying, stigma, inclusion in mainstream schools. Poor data and documentation, no accurate national identity, national disability database. Challenges in obtaining NADRA disability certificates, social stigma, discrimination, as mentioned before, limited access to healthcare and rehabilitations. These all are challenges, and many more gender-based challenges are also here. For especially disabled women are facing more difficulties than the male ones. So gender challenges come here also. In these all challenges, our strategy is to address the PWDs in Pakistan. We need to strengthen implementation and enforce existing laws. As the existing laws are present, we are here to improve the laws and improve their implementation, improve employment opportunities, enforce the 2% employment quota in public and private sectors. We will establish the skill-based vocational training centers for PWDs, in which we will provide them skill-based trainings for their earning purposes, for their financial sources, and also small-scale businesses, in which also we provide marketing skills like digital working opportunities in digital marketing and all these kind of trainings, so that they can be financially independent if they are not, if they are PWDs, but these things will help them to become a strong person for themselves. So strengthen inclusive education by policy engagement and advocacy for their rights, for the equal rights. So reduce stigma and social discrimination. This can only be done by raising awareness, both on social media and physical campaigns, and for by awareness sessions in schools, colleges, in community-based areas, and strengthening institutional coordination, in which we create a provisional disability coordination committees, ensure collaboration between social welfare, health, education, transport, and labor, in which we encourage NGOs, DPOs, disabled person organization, and government participation, promote gender recessive disability inclusion, promote leadership of women with disability at community and political levels. So, as this is all about the our PWDs, and now I'm sharing the slide. We are working now. Recently, we are working on the peace building.
Sorry, if I may ask you to quickly go through the expected outcomes of the small grant, because we do want to
Yeah, sure.
space for questions for other grantees as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So the expected outcomes from this project is to strengthen our local capacity and for inclusive peace building. In this, we are forming a committee in which in 5 district Multan, in 5 union councils, in committees consist of influential peoples and religious leaders and all and other community members who are working for the conflict management in the community level in the community level that are because of discrimination for marginalized community. So this is our agenda for this project, and expected results are at least 150 to 170 local actors, including women, youth, PWDs, religious minorities, are trained for conflict sensitivity, right-based approaches. So at least 10 communities led peace building and civic engagement and right-based advocacies. 5 functional and inclusive mediation dialogue mechanisms are established at the Union Council level, enabling regular community engagement, providing structured platform for the peaceful conflict resolution. Here is a pictorial view of the meetings that we trainings that we are conducting in the this project, and this is all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Izzat, for such a great presentation and continuing on with this work.
Thank you so much.
It's excellent. And thank you to all of our presenters for your insightful contributions. We'll now open the floor for any questions from participants here. So please use the raise hand feature or feel free to type your question into the chat. We'll do our best to address as many questions as possible, but let's aim for maybe 3 questions.
I don't know how to press the button there.
It's okay, we see you, Dr. Ray. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I learned a lot from all of the presentations. Thank you so much to everyone. I'd like to go back to the original first presentation. I was very excited to hear them, and I hope to get copies of them, download them, so we can use them. My first question is, I just recently attended a seminar, a conference. I totally believe in inclusion, but I was shocked to hear from this conference that they were saying inclusion means you are outsider, you join us, the insider. So it gave me a different perspective. So I said, so what do you want? They say we have to transform our thinking. So instead of we include you, we should all be transformed. So it's just something I learned recently. It's not my original. And secondly, we talk a lot about, and I agree, the inclusion thing, totally, 100%. But with your president's DEI dumping it, what's the future of inclusion? You know what I'm talking about. cutting funding for USAID, US Institute of Peace, and all of that. And third question, the biggest elephant in the room is in the Middle East. We talk of a lot of good things, but we don't dare say certain things or do certain things for fear of reprisal, especially if we are not white. Sorry to say that. Thank you. So what do you see for the future of inclusion? Thank you so much, Jessica.
Yeah, David, do you want to collect all the questions or do you just want me to go? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I think we can go ahead with these 3 questions first, and then we can
Okay.
go ahead and see if anyone else has any other burning questions. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. I think this, thank you, Dr. I think this is the question of the day. I think everyone here probably knows I didn't vote for the current president. But, he's not the only one around the world that's, promoting this agenda. This is a very, very connected, space and sector. So first, I agree with you. So inclusion, it's not about, I like the not conforming, but transforming. I like, this is a new t-shirt we can, can make. Inclusion is not about making like the group think of join us. I think inclusion as making sure that you have representation of all the voices to be heard. So it's more about active listening, not about believing in what people already believe. I think it's more about like, let's share our experiences to widen our own lived experiences, right? I mean, no matter what inclusion topic that you're looking at, it's always about learning and unlearning. And I think, it's kind of like mediation in the sense there's so many interconnections between inclusivity and mediation in the sense that there has to be a rightness for it. You have to be willing to be able to hear, to learn and unlearn. So it takes that active participation element to it. But I'm really glad that that conversation was unpacking that. Which is why with the toolkit we were trying to look at transformative change at these across the different conflict cycles and across the different levels of change, trying to show that transformation on the DEI issue. So there is a common kind of misconception that inclusion is DEI. So DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, is specific to hiring practices. So it's more about organizations, especially the private sector corporations, quotas of hiring specific groups or, different policies of internal to practice. So it's a very narrow sector. I mean, it's very needed, but it is, for them to basically for the government to say like, oh, we're getting rid of all DI, it's a very narrow group. So it's not, we're not getting rid of inclusion as a whole, but just that kind of lens to it. Some people argue that, having that lens is exclusionary to others. Of course, I don't side with this group, but DI is very different from inclusion as a whole, and including like how it relates to peace building in other sectors. And then the last thing about, you said spaces where, such as the conflict with Israel, Gaza, I was just in another meeting the other day where there were heated discussions about this very thing in talking about sexual and gender-based violence in both sides of the conflict. I think the important and critical thing, especially for the peace building space, is making sure that we're creating safe spaces where people feel that they can be heard. Because the last thing you want is to build a space where people want to learn, but then you shut them down and they disengage. So my number one is just creating a space where people feel safe and able enough to have those discussions and then unpack the way that people are communicating or asking certain questions of what you're discussing, and also giving people knowing from the beginning that they can opt out. People are carrying their own traumas and experiences from what we all know about each other. And so just letting people know, like, if something's triggering you and you need to step out and you want to join at another time, that's okay too. everybody has different things going on. So I think just making, some ground rules for your discussion so people are respectful, but also giving people the option to opt out when they need is so critical right now. And just, in the spirit of the holidays, like just being understanding. Everybody's trying their best. And as you said, all the with the funding cuts, with the political environment that we're in, I mean, there's so much that everyone is carrying that if we all just give each other a little bit of space and care, I think we'll go a lot further because we need each other in these times for sure.
That's very positive. Thank you so much.
Well, if we're not positive, what do we have? I can't give in. I can't give in.
The world indeed lives on hope. Okay, we have one question from Seraful as well. How can AI be leveraged to make peace-building processes more accessible to persons with disabilities, especially with limited digital infrastructure? And I'd like to raise this question specifically to Maruf, but then also open it up to any of the grantees as well who might have used AI. Yeah, thank you.
So actually, in my opinion, I would say that AI have provide so many opportunity for people of disability. Recently, we try to make some material or curriculum that we actually summarize it from you know uh, a, a handbook of the peace building and make it more accessible by make it into like infographic or summarize it into like a shorter or more understand or even translate to Thai or Malay language. And I also make the video clip of the book, so this make the people of disability can get more access to some material, some knowledge about peace building, like without having like braille language, but at least having like sound to play. And actually, the one of the participant that participate on that day on our event, in our event, he is a blind, and he learned using Gemini AI by himself, and he teach me that how to use Gemini to what is that uh uh you know what do you see. So he point the camera to some object, like for example remote control, right? And ask Gemini or even ChatGPT to answer the question that what is that, and please describe it to me. So I asked him. His name is Sufyan, and to teach me how to use AI. And he really good in teaching me, and he tried it by himself. Accidentally he found some button on his phone, like assistive button, to read the text on the screen out loud, and that make him to be uh, a digital citizen, so he can get access to information. And even the flood disaster in the deep south of Thailand that happened, currently, he even, share that post, about the disaster and about the news. So he really active. But this happened by, by accident. So we need more, systematic, like learning, uh, education, or some space that not only him to accidentally found the function, but to make more people of disability, learn and be a digital citizenship like him. And for me in the future, I am a bit optimistic you know, like AI having more chance to allow people of disability to be digital citizenship. We will have more technology in the future, like translating text or translating like sign language into sound, into other form of, you know, uh, to make the people of disability get access to information. And yeah, we still need to have some project to, not only Sufyan to be digital, really active in peace building or digital citizenship, but you know, uh, more and more people that need to learn like Sufyan. Yeah, this is my short answer. I hope my answer, to answer your question. Yeah.
Yes, I think you answered it brilliantly, Maruf. And if you have these materials and they are in English or even in Thai, please do share. Perhaps we can compile it and share it with the wider audience.
Sure. Yes, I will share it.
We have one more question, and this can be kind of to all presenters. What do you think is the best approach for a peace builder from their standpoint in a top-bottom situations where policies are not only inclusive from the grassroots level, but more from the top levels? Sorry, Eric, I'm not sure I completely understand the question. Maybe if I phrase it and I've phrased it incorrectly, you can correct me. But I think the question here is, what is the best approach for a peace builder in a from the grassroots level, where policies are not inclusive from the grassroots, but inclusive from the top level? Do we have anyone with a potential answer here?
If I may, I don't think I'll answer it, but I'll give it a shot. I think oftentimes there are three levels of operation: top, middle, and bottom. Oftentimes you only hear from the top leaders, even rebel leaders, and also from the middle, academia, NGOs who claim to speak on behalf of the grassroots. But oftentimes we do not even give the grassroots a place at the table. But it happens. In some United Nations meetings, they say, "Who are you? Oh, you're just a middle class academician or you're an NGO, but where are the grassroots?" And I think in some events, they bring the grassroots. I think we need more of real grassroots. And a lot of funding goes to the middle class, and they don't really go down to where it's needed. I read an article by Paul Farmer. He's a public health and a medical doctor. He passed away. He won the first Skoll Social Entrepreneurship Award. And you know what he did? He criticized it. He said there are three ways by which we can do public health. One is in social entrepreneurship. We charge people because mothers don't value their children enough if you don't ask them to pay like $1 or 50 cents. And he says that's hogwash because consultants are paid like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 US dollars to go to Haiti. But the poor mother is told you have to pay $1. He himself is a medical doctor from Harvard. And then he said the second approach is it's public health. It's the duty of the government to provide health as a public right. And third, it's a human right. So it's not a question of the public, it's not a question of entrepreneurship, but it is a basic human rights. But then we see what's going on in the world today. Everything is being marketized and everything is for a buck. So again, we always forget the grassroots. Although the middle class, including maybe me, I'm middle class, we always try to speak on behalf of the grassroots. but where are the grassroots? So I don't think I'm answering the question. I'm giving it another turn, I guess. Thank you.
I would like to add some idea of your question. I actually like the idea of John Paul Lederach about the web of the spider, right? So if we compare a piece like the web of the spider, and piece builder need to be like the spider who make the web stronger, right? So each line of the web is a group of people, right? For example, women in peace building, people of disability, the youth, the marginalized group, or uh, each group are like the web, each line of web, right? If some line is broken, so the web should, make it to be stronger. So the web should move around from left to right, move at the bottom to the top. So what I make the theory into reality is, for example, if I can get access to the council of the peace building in the deep south of Thailand, so I have a chance to get get access to that point. So I will bring all the group of people who lack access to the power, bring them to be stronger, right? So the line of the group, the line of the web, which is the group of people of disability, which is once weak, right? Before, so we have to empower them to make it stronger and connect them to be, on the top of the level. So once they're strong, so we have to empower other group as well. And I always say to Apicia as well, for example, she is women, she is people of disability as well, and some representative of some group. So once she think that her community is strong to get access to like high level of official or government, so she have to promote all the group of people as well. So for me, make the community stronger and connect to the top of the high level of the peace building. If I have some chance, so I will empower them, and if they have some chance, so they have to empower me as well. So this like collective movement to make the web of the spider or the peace building to make it to be stronger. And we have to understand that, yeah, sometimes it's broken. So we have to, collective movement to make us go together in peace building to make it more inclusive. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maruf. And I think I agree with both Maruf and Dr. Ray when and in my view as well, it's not really in one of the levels. All of the levels have work to do to ensure that there's a connective tissue, and we build that web further and further. So thank you so much, Maru, for that. I think we don't have any more time for questions unless someone has a burning question. You can put it into the chat. But I think we can close today's meeting. I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the presenters and to all of you on this call for your active participation. It's clear that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to ensure full inclusion and participation of persons with disabilities in peace processes across Asia. We will share the toolkit we've showcased today, as well as the presentation by all of our inspiring grantees. We will also create 2-pagers for our website where you can learn more and read more about their work and snapshot outcomes. I encourage all of you to reflect on how you can incorporate some of these insights into your own work and your own communities. Let's continue to advocate for and implement inclusive practices and keep sharing with the Asia Working Group when you've done something, and we would be happy to amplify that as well. yeah, and I'll just thank you again for all of your commitment to this cause, and I hope all of you have a good rest of your evening or rest of your day to colleagues from the US. And we'll meet again shortly, I'm sure, all of us on a call sometime. Thank you so much, everybody, and bye. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye.